Good evening. We're coming to you tonight with a special report. Tensions are mounting in the Middle East as high-stakes diplomatic talks between the United States and Iran have collapsed. The fallout? Well, it's already underway.
Our top story tonight, diplomacy has failed. After hours of intense negotiations in Muscat, Oman, the talks have officially broken down. No agreement has been reached.
And that failure has triggered an immediate and severe response from Washington. It's a move that signals we're entering a new and, frankly, much more dangerous phase in this standoff.
The speed of this breakdown is just stunning. We're talking about an 8-hour marathon of negotiations. But within a single hour of those talks ending, the White House was already announcing a fresh wave of punitive economic measures against Tehran. So this wasn't just a failure to find common ground, it was an immediate escalation.
So how did we get here? To really understand what happened, you have to look inside those negotiating rooms in Oman. Because let me tell you, these discussions were anything but conventional.
Let's break down who was actually there. On the Iranian side, you had their veteran diplomat, Foreign Minister Abbas Araki. The American delegation was led by Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff. But here's the kicker. They were accompanied by Admiral Brad Cooper, the head of U.S. Central Command. Bringing your top military commander in the region to a diplomatic negotiation, well, that sends a very powerful, and some would say intimidating message right from the start.
And get this, the two sides never even met face to face. They were in separate rooms, with Oman's foreign minister literally running back and forth as a mediator. It's a stark picture of the deep mistrust that really poisoned these proceedings from the get-go. Reports also noted a real contrast in demeanor. The Iranian officials were described as calm, while their American counterparts seemed visibly tense.
At its core, the collapse really came down to fundamental disagreements over what they were even supposed to be talking about. In truth, these talks were deadlocked before they ever really began.
The Wall Street Journal reported that Iran's flat-out refusal to stop its uranium enrichment program was a critical sticking point. But, as we're learning, it was far from the only issue that proved to be insurmountable.
Here's the fundamental divide. The United States wanted a broad agenda. They wanted to discuss not just the nuclear program, but also Iran's ballistic missiles and its network of regional proxies. Iran's position, though, was adamant. We will talk about the nuclear program and only the nuclear program. Everything else was completely off the table. So with diplomacy dead in the water, the U.S. immediately moved to its next lever of power, economic warfare. The pressure campaign was escalated swiftly to punish Tehran for the breakdown.
The very first move was to sanction 14 Iranian oil tankers and their parent companies. This is a direct strike at the heart of Iran's economy, their primary source of revenue.
But then came a much bigger, much broader move. The White House signed an order threatening a massive 25% tariff on any other country that continues to trade with Iran. This is a huge step. It essentially forces the rest of the world to pick a side. For analysts, this confirms the deal hasn't just stalled, it has completely and utterly collapsed.
In Tehran, the response was just as swift. They immediately pivoted from the negotiating table straight to the war room. The entire focus has shifted from diplomacy to defense readiness.
As soon as he returned from Oman, Foreign Minister Araki met with Iran's National Security Council. And in that meeting, a military plan was finalized for how to respond to a potential attack, a plan that, we're told, has now been approved by the Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei himself.
And this is not just talk. Iran has been actively preparing. This readiness is built on a recent and incredibly rapid military modernization. Reports indicate their missile production has shot up tenfold. They've acquired advanced S-400 air defense systems, they've deployed new fighter jets, new radars, and sophisticated anti-ship missiles. They are readying for a fight.
So tonight, with diplomacy shattered and both sides digging in, the critical question facing the international community is this: is there any path to de-escalation left? Or has the failure in Oman set this region on an irreversible course toward war? That remains the deeply unsettling question tonight.